What is happening, you beautiful bastards? Welcome back to another week. We're at it again. Another G&G episode where we just bullshit for an hour.
What is happening, you beautiful bastards?
The G&G Show. It's one of my favorites. I actually have a little update for you guys, and we're going to do something together as a class. I know this is exciting and new. So a couple weeks ago, maybe it was last week. It's hard to keep track at this point. We did an episode where we talked about alcohol, and it's been discovered that I'm a connoisseur of whiskey.
I'm sorry.
Listen, fake it till you make it. That's my role. So I was informed that Bulleit Bourbon's rye, it's not going to pass muster. Basically, we'll sum it up that way. So it was pointed out by one of our longtime listeners that I should be trying something called True Blue, and I did order it. Unfortunately, I couldn't get it, but I did try something. I haven't tried it yet. I'm going to try it here with you guys. This is right here, Bellus Bourbon. Now, Griz, maybe you know a little more about this than I do. From what I gather, whiskey is not bourbon, but bourbon is whiskey.
Kind of.
I'm going to go with the kind of here.
There's like varying degrees of whiskey.
Well, if I drink enough of this, I will need Depends.
I'm not an expert by any means.
Oh, well, by this time next year, guys, I will be.
I just know that Scotch has to be made in Scotland.
Mm-hmm.
Bourbon can be made in most places, but usually is made in Tennessee, I believe.
Let me tell you a little bit about this. This is from our new sponsor, Bellus Bourbon.
I wish.
I'm just kidding. No. I do know they plant a tree with each bottle. That's good for us. So it's bottled by
They plant a tree with each bottle?
That's what it says on the label. I don't know.
How do they grow a tree out of glass?
Griz, let me tell these guys what I'm drinking. Crown Valley Distilling Company out of I don't know, St. Genevieve, Missouri.
English.
I could be saying it wrong. I don't know what STE is. I've never even seen that abbreviated.
You're
before.
pronouncing it wrong. It's misery.
Yeah, it's misery. So I'll read you what's on the label here. We use an innovative distillation process to remove fusel. Oh, for fuck's sake, guys. I don't even know what the hell I'm reading here.
Oh, fucker can't even read this week.
Fusel oils?
Fusel oil?
Yeah, I don't know. We're gonna have to look that up. Look that up while I'm getting wasted on air here. And we find the perfect blend of
buddy in who makes moonshine.
We find the perfect blend of alcohol, aromatics, and flavors. This process makes
oils.
This process makes Bellus Bourbon consistently smooth from the first sip to the last drop. Now, let me tell you a little bit about choosing this bottle, okay? So I go into my my local distribution hub, and I said, I'm looking for True Blue. We talked about what I was looking for because they had a couple other things that were similar. He had to order it, but I said to the guy, I'm new to this world. You got a recommendation for me? And I could kind of tell by talking to this guy, he might not be the best person to ask. but he says to me, I just tried this Bellus Bourbon. And what I liked about this too, which made it appealing to me when I bought it, was in its own little whiskey barrel. It went up to about here.
He buys whiskey like a lot of people buy cars versus, how many cup holders they have.
It looked nice.
What's under the hood.
It was a good presentation. And the guy told me.
It's all visual, man.
Yeah, it's all about the presentation. Perception's reality. But the guy told me it's smooth. He gave it to his buddy. He likes it. And, I didn't have anyone else to base it on. So I was like, fuck it, I'll do it. So I'm going to try it here with you guys.
By the way, Fusel Alcohol or Fusel, sometimes called Fusel Oils.
Yeah.
It's basically higher alcohols, mainly those with more than 2 carbons, chiefly amyl alcohol, produced as a byproduct of alcoholic fermentation.
So this is
it's the German for bad liquor.
So if it's German, wouldn't it be Fusel?
Yeah, it's also
Fusel,
that apparently is the stuff that gives you the hangovers.
Oh, so this is low carbon, low hangover.
Okay. So did that say double distilled?
It just says innovative distillation process.
which I think so. Usually,
But they
I
do use a
believe-
brand new charred oak barrel for each batch,
Yeah,
and
that's-
then put it in a miniature barrel for. Oh no, that's the miniature barrel that I got with it. My wife likes it.
I'm pretty sure that double distillation is what removes the stuff, the fusel oils, that gives you the hangover.
Well,
Like I
then,
said, I got a buddy who makes moonshine. I don't
we'll have to
get
we'll have
hungover
to get him
from
on
it.
and talk about it. But you ready?
Yeah,
I'm gonna pop it. You ready for this?
He
Here we go.
looks like a fucking dude. We're straight out of a mountain.
Give it a listen. You ready?
Oh,
Oh my God!
you're the angels.
Let's see. I'm gonna go light here.
If you start talking to me about piney notes, then have issues. Also, we can not monetize this episode ever.
Nope. Let's see.
Fuck off, YouTube.
I will say it's got a distinct bourbon type of smell to it. It's got a nice odor, very rich and body. Oh goodness! Let's see what it tastes like.
So does that make 2 whiskeys in your house now?
Well, I have had a fuck ton of Jack Daniels, but I cannot drink that anymore.
That's not whiskey. That's garbage.
I actually read the label on when I was in there, and I because I had a bad experience with Jack Daniels, and it's not smooth. And the label said that it's one of the smoothest ever, and I just had to laugh at that. It's definitely not, in my opinion.
It's the smoothest that comes out of our factory.
I will say though, it does not taste like the Bullet Bourbon Rye. It is.
Ooh, it's got a strong flavor to it. It's not a bad one, but it's got a strong flavor.
What was it? What was that? What does?
Bullet has a strong
Oh
flavor.
yes, yes.
Not a bad one, but it's just I like Bullet.
It is caramelly.
Have you ever gotten into scotches at all?
No, I will say it's not. It doesn't have the bite that the rye does. I do like it.
Rye typically doesn't have bite because
The
rye
one
is
that I
supposed to be
did-
yeah, some do depending,
Yeah.
right? But rye is supposed to be the smoothest of all whiskeys, or the
Well,
smoother,
We'll
But that's,
confirm
like,
that over
without-
the course of this year.
doing other things.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Anyway, so my first couple sips of Bellis Bourbon, and
you're gonna rate it?
I can rate it in my limited experience. I'm gonna say that's
Out of 323.
323. I guess I'd give it a 287. If
I
you want to
like
go
that.
with something a
That's
little more
good.
normal, like a scale of 1 to 10, I'm gonna give it a 7. So that's that for Bellis Bourbon, and that is my G&G alcohol of the month. I recommend it for you guys. I can't wait until we come across one that makes me spit it back out.
Not on the subject of you spitting booze out, but hopefully I'll be picking up a bottle of the Koji whiskey this week. So maybe you guys will be able to see how that goes next week.
You know what? I'm gonna have to drive up to your house and get myself some of that from your area because I can't get it here. And we can both
And
try
it
it.
sucks, we know.
That's true. It does suck, but we can both try it here together. However, in other happenings in my life today, I came across something, and you'll probably recognize this as a Jerry thought if there ever was one. I saw a video of a scuba diver, scuba diving as they do, and he was down in he was near the I think he was near British Columbia, and so he's taking a video underwater, and a pod of orcas comes through. And they split the difference. They go around him, above him, whatever. And I got to thinking, sharks attack people all the time, but I've never once outside of the aquariums heard of an orca attacking a human. So I got to wondering, they're assholes to everything else in the ocean. Why do they leave us alone?
We're the only predator, really.
Yeah,
We're their only natural predator. But there's nothing to say that an orca hasn't killed humans.
no, I looked it up because I wanted to know. I
Yeah.
was like, I asked Google. I said, "Hey Google, what gives? They're not killing anybody." As it turns out, they don't do that.
I mean, they're pretty smart.
Super smart. And actually, in my my little armchair session where I learned as much as I could in a span of 10 or 15 minutes about orcas, my mind is blown. Sincerely. Let me tell
Did
you a
you
little
know
bit
that,
about the things I learned. Go ahead, you first.
Nothing to do with orcas, but sperm whales. Do you know that their noise, whatever their call or whatever, can heat up your body temperature?
Yes, Are they the ones with the loudest call on Earth? It's like 160 decibels or something like that.
Yeah, and it's so crazy that if you're diving in the water near them, your body temperature rises. That's fucking insane.
You know what's interesting? I just read about them the other day too, that they also temper their behavior around humans. So if they know that a human's in the water with them, when they do their whale call, they tone it down. They turn the volume down on purpose because they know that our brains will explode.
It's true. They'll literally boil.
Fish, man. Technically they're mammals, but
We'll say fish.
All intents and purposes, they're pretty much fish.
No,
They're like a poorly designed fish. They live in the water, but they can't breathe.
Fine, I'll give you poorly designed.
So, in my thorough research today, when I asked the internet why orcas don't eat people, there's a couple of reasons, and then it led me to a couple of other. That's probably one of them. As it turns out, they're actually super picky eaters. I assume that you've heard that they will flip over a great white shark and eat its liver, right?
I mean, other animals would do that as well.
Yeah,
not to the great white, but to other animals.
Right.
So liver's got all the nutrients and shit.
Yeah, they obviously need a fatty diet, and there's a couple of things that I read about it. One, when we're talking about like Chinook salmon, they love the fat ones, and they will actually completely ignore an entire school of skinny salmon if they know that on the other side there are fat salmon. That's how picky they are. And there's actually one case that I read of a pod of orcas killing a gray whale just to eat its tongue.
I mean, I know they're kind of the dicks of the sea.
Right. That's why I was like, they got to be killing people, but they're not. There's never been a case.
Not in the ocean. Not in the wild.
The only ones are in captivity. Yeah. And actually, the ones that are in captivity, there's even debate about whether or not most of those were even malicious or they're just playing with humans and we're weak as fuck.
Yeah, but one of them, they like chomped on the dude's junk, ripped it off while they were dragging him around the pool.
I said most. There are exceptions.
I mean, I guess to a whale it might look like something, but fuck, it'd be a shitty way to go, dude.
But researchers, though, the researchers that are not focusing on the cockbiting, the ones that look out at the orcas in nature,
You mean the ones that actually do research?
Yeah, not the ones just watching the SeaWorld shows. Out in nature, there seems to be some sort of cultural unwritten orca rule that you don't fuck with humans.
I wouldn't doubt it. Again, it's a porpoise, and they're fucking smart.
They are, and
dolphins don't kill people; they just rape them.
That's true, and I don't think there's any stories of orcas raping people. That probably wouldn't work. That would be a case of an orca killing a human.
Also, the dolphin that raped people, did it really rape people? That woman was doing some crazy shit with the dolphin, dude.
Well, I will say that penetration, however slight, constitutes the offense. It's hard to say. I don't know. I don't know anything about dolphin bestiality, but a couple of interesting anecdotes that I learned about orcas while I was reading about this. They every pod of orcas, they have a set group of rules and parameters on how they navigate, how they communicate, and how they hunt. And every pod is different. And if two pods meet, they have this elaborate meeting ceremony that they do. And they've even been witnessed having a fucking funeral.
Define orca funeral.
Dead body, everyone around him paying respects. They even took off their little orca hats and put them over their chest.
Speaking of rape, what do you think of Johnny Depp's case? There's no rape there except for the lawyers and raping the judicial system.
Yes, I actually have heard a lot of the stuff coming out of this case, and I just want to point out that what you just said, that's hearsay.
Yeah, no shit.
I get the distinct impression that what's her name there? What's his ex-wife's name? Amber Heard. Yeah, Amber Heard's lawyer seems like he's never done this before.
I'm wondering if he's actually a lawyer.
He seems like someone pretending to be a lawyer. Like maybe she knows an actor who's on Law and Order, and that's who she hired.
That, or she found a dude on the side of the street and said, "Hey, I'll jump your bones if you fucking cover me in this case."
It's crazy to me though, because of how much money she has and the connections that she definitely has from Hollywood, and that's the lawyer she's using.
Does she have that much money?
Yeah, she's at least a millionaire.
Why?
Because she's made millions in movies. And they actually brought it up. They brought it up in the court case that she has plenty of money.
How much money she got?
Oh, I don't know the number. I'd have to check her bank account. Give me a minute.
Well, fucking look, bitch.
All right, let's
gives
check
you
it
a
out.
general idea.
Let's check it out.
You
Amber
look it
Heard
up
net
because
worth.
my internet sucks there, apparently.
Let's see. Amber Heard's net worth. I'm gonna give it
1.3.
to me. Oh, really? It's not as much as I thought it would be. 2.5
Dude,
million.
what has she been in? Besides Aquaman. And if you say that was a great movie,
I actually
I'm really starting to doubt.
I really thought Aquaman was like one of the worst superhero movies I've ever seen. Yeah.
We can keep doing the show.
Oh, good. I get to keep my job. Yeah, 2.5 million. Let's compare that to Johnny Depp. Hang on a second.
Johnny Depp's got to be a couple hundred million, maybe. Except for all he spent on the blow that went into that box.
Oh, you were pretty damn close, man.
Dude, I've been close on both these.
I know. His net worth's 100 million, give or take a little bit. Salary is 20 million per film.
And 100 million of that, like I said, he spent on the coke that was in that box.
No, but looks like it could fit some coke.
You know what actually kind of is shocking me on all of that?
What?
Like the judge just, because like it's obvious that Johnny Depp's fucking making a fool of the lawyer.
Yeah, the judge just letting it roll.
And the judge just like, yeah, Keith, this guy's retarded. All right. Fucking he's objecting to his own shit. I don't fucking, who gives a shit? But
now,
what's for lunch?
Listeners, if you haven't seen any of this, do yourself a favor and just go look up some of these little clips of the court proceedings going on in this court case, because there's going to be countless memes for coming out of this for like the next 15 years. It's out of control that this is an actual court case in the United States, although it shouldn't surprise us.
I mean, I think of a lawyer, right? And kind of a really good bullshit artist. They should be able to tell a story really well, like just a compelling fucking story. And I'm listening to this woman talk through like what's supposed to be maybe a year and change of life. And it's like, you ever hear someone telling a story and they're just rushing through it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're trying to get to the fucking catchphrase. That's what it sounded like. I'm like, you're not selling anyone here.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're doing.
The word,
but it's not what you're trying to do.
But I get your point.
What did I say?
Catchphrase.
Same thing.
Catchphrase is like, that's all, folks. Punchline is like, the end of a joke. I can't even go there with you right now. But yeah, I don't get it. So every time I listen to this, it doesn't sound like real court.
Yeah.
Like the questions he's asking, like repeatedly asking literally the same exact question, not even rephrasing.
Like 4 times.
Did I read that right? Did I read that right? Just to make sure. Did I read that right? Yes, and you continue to do so.
Like, yes, the other 4 times you read that right.
One thing that's really standing out to me, might be you as well. She shit on the bed.
That actually didn't stand out to me that much. Is that a problem?
I guess it's normal in your life, but to me it seems like a level of spite that I just can't comprehend, because you can't just think, oh, she's angry and shit on the bed. Think about the process that goes on here, Johnny Depp standing in the doorway watching her arguing, and she jumps up onto the bed, rips off her underwear, and squats on the pillow.
Do you think she was staring at him in the eyes?
I would if it was me. If you're gonna go that far, go all the way.
So I was talking with my wife about this, because apparently a lot of people are being like, oh, she's got mental health issues, like you can't get mad at her. No, you can. There's still, even with mental health, there's still issues here that she's
aware.
There's not a normal process here. She's still doing wrong things.
And she knows.
I could still get pissed at someone who's insane for killing someone. They still committed murder.
Yeah, if she legitimately was like, this is out of her control, she wouldn't be lying about it.
No, she knows what's going on.
She knows what she did. She knows what she did, and she should be swatted with the newspaper for it.
And I said to my wife, I was like, never once have I ever been so pissed. I was like, I'm gonna shit on your pillow. Ever. Not once. Never even entered my brain.
It's never crossed my mind either.
I have way too many questions about the shit, man.
Give me some of them. I'll answer them for you.
Was it solid?
Was she
staring into his eyes?
You can see
There's a picture of
the turd. Yeah.
Oh my god.
I will say this: her turd looked unhealthy.
Okay.
It looked like a Coke turd, if I'm being honest.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't be shocked to understand that both of them were into some drugs.
Yeah.
It's Johnny Depp.
Well, Johnny Depp said on the stand that he once gave Marilyn Manson. He gave Marilyn Manson a pill, just a random pill. I'm sure Johnny Depp knew what it was, but Marilyn Manson just blindly took it because that's what they do. because Marilyn Manson was talking too much and he wanted him to stop. That's the kind of person we're talking about here. He's
Well, he also was like buddy with who's the guy who wrote Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas? Something Thompson. Why can't I think of that?
Hunter S. Thompson.
So
Yeah.
he was really good buddies with Hunter S. Thompson, which if anyone knows him, that dude did some drugs. He also bullshit a lot of people.
I love that movie though.
Dude, it's so good.
One of my favorite lines is one of God's
Can't
own
park your car
prototypes. Too weird to live, too rare to die.
There's so many. My other thing I had going on is, what are your thoughts on Elon purchasing Twitter?
That's a good question. I have a lot of mixed feelings on that. At the moment, until proven otherwise, I'm currently Team Elon.
It's interesting because we started this whole project off and you were very anti-Elon.
I think he's pretty sus, but at the moment, I agree with him buying it because let me explain why. He said when he bought Twitter, one of his main goals was to eliminate bots. And I can't even tell you how pervasive the bot problem is on social media. If you could get rid of bots altogether and you could only have an account if you were an actual human, a lot of the shit going on would be severely toned down.
Yeah. I mean, I can't fault him for things that he wants. Like, so he wants to make it so there's actual like a freedom of speech to it, right? Which I don't have a problem with.
But who's going to govern this freedom of speech?
Well, so that's I think there's no governing. I don't have a problem with the idea of freedom of speech, but that's going to be a dumpster fire.
Well, you already know my opinion on freedom of speech when it comes to social media. I think that for those of you who don't know my stance on this, I don't really think freedom of speech should apply to social media because at the end of the day, there are people who they shouldn't have a voice and they definitely shouldn't have an audience.
See, I find that very odd. Like, I'm not saying that there are people out there who shouldn't have a voice, but at the same time,
it sounds really anti-American, but look at what happens when everybody with no restrictions can say whatever they want and feel like they deserve to be heard. But then how do you fix it without going full 1984?
But also, who's to decide what's okay to say and what's not?
I'll do it.
Yeah, you're gonna let Biden do that? Actually, on that, I figured it out this week, and we need to convince Congress somehow, maybe at gunpoint. We need to put in a law that you can no longer be president if you're at retirement age.
That's going to eliminate everybody. Everybody who's been running.
Problem solved. Because I'm sorry, these old fuckers. Like, seriously, think about it. Who do you know who wants to be working past? We'll even say 75.
I don't know anybody that wants to, but I know a lot of people who know they have to.
Stay in office. They don't have to stand. But I guarantee they do not have to stand.
No, but I'm talking about people in real life.
No, I know, but I'm talking about politicians.
Yeah,
they don't have to stay in office. They have plenty of money.
They're all millionaires.
Yeah, yet they do. I mean, how old's Biden now? Like 400.
400 in dog years. He's actually like, I want to say he's 77 or 78 now.
No, he's older than that.
No, he's not 80 yet. He's not 80 yet.
I thought he was 80.
No way. Are you going to look it up and prove me wrong?
Of course. And
close. Right in between. He's 79.
I'm going to have to say, we're going to have to put an age cap on this bitch.
Yeah, I was actually just talking to someone today about him. He's going to run again. He's going to run for the next.
Which is insane.
Yes, it is insane. How old is he going to be?
He's got another 2 years. So not knowing when his birthday is, he's at least going to be fucking 81.
Yeah. So
when he'll
be somewhere in his 80s.
So that means he'll be 85. About a guy. If he gets in, which I don't think he will, but if he gets in again, that means he'd be 85.
But I don't think he has a chance at winning because if you guys don't know, he sounds like he has dementia because he has a severe stutter. And it would appear from my uneducated ears that it's getting worse as he gets older.
I mean, it's a very stressful job, man. It takes its toll on everyone. I think
I'm not talking shit on the guy for having a stutter. I'm just saying that when you're that old and you have a stutter like that, and it gets to a point you can't really communicate, you probably shouldn't lead a country. What are your thoughts, though, on his potential opposition, who's probably going to be DeSantis?
I don't know. I think
I can tell you we definitely have listeners who are probably going to be rooting hard for DeSantis. I don't know a whole lot about him. I don't, because Florida is like another country to us, but I know a lot of people who are going to be dead set against it. So I don't really know anybody that has like an impartial view. I don't know shit about DeSantis except he has like divisive policies.
Not to go fucking hardcore political. I just looking at the Democratic side, who do they have?
That is a good question. Let's see.
I mean, I read an article the other day that listed out everyone they have, and it's like, okay, see you next year. In 4 years.
Let's see, top 10 Democratic presidential candidates. Let's see who we got.
Kamala Harris.
It's Kamala. Thank you very much, you piece of shit.
Kamala, my bad.
I don't think this is going to happen. For one, she's not old enough, but Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, AOC.
Yeah, I don't think she's going
to. She's only 32, so she's not even old enough anyway. For international listeners, you have to be at least 35 to run for president.
See, we have a fucking young age. Why do we not have a cap? What's a cap? 700?
We should have a cap, in my opinion, at like 56, 57, something like that. Once you're pushing close to 60,
even go 60.
60 is like the max. Because once you hit 60, I know, but once you hit 60, though, you're going to really start to disassociate from average citizens. Totally different set of problems. Other options: Gavin Newsom, old Hollywood governor. Cory Booker.
It's going so good in California.
I don't know a lot about Cory Booker. I know that as a person, I liked him in 2016, but I don't know much about his policies. Sherrod Brown, no idea who this is. Roy Cooper, no clue. Amy Klobuchar, I think she might be crazy, but I don't quote me on that.
I guarantee there's some crazy motherfuckers in there.
Elizabeth Warren, who she ran last cycle, didn't.
Perfect example.
She didn't get far. Kamala Harris is on the list. Pete Buttigieg.
Told you.
And Biden's in spot number 1,
which only because he's in there already. But there's no like.
Well, I can tell you this much: student loans are a linchpin for them, and I think they're going to fail. So I don't know how much you've read about this, but he's been pushing off. He keeps deferring starting up the loan payments again. So if you have a student loan, they basically put it on hold. It's paused right now. And they just extended that out until, I don't know, August or something like that. Somewhere far out. I don't have loans, so it doesn't really apply.
I don't know. I keep getting the emails.
Some people, actually, I think most people have significantly higher than $10,000 student loans, right?
Oh, fuck yeah. I would say everyone does.
Right. So he's talking about either getting rid of all of it or getting rid of 10,000 of it. If he does any amount of it, he loses anyone who is a right-leaning supporter who could have voted for him. If he does not get rid of, well, because they don't want to give anything away. Most people I know on the right, their view is you took the money out, you're responsible for it. At the end of the day, they're not really wrong. There's a whole different set of scenario here and situations where the whole situation was predatory. It was all fucked up to begin with. But yeah, technically they took the money out, they should pay it back. But if you go to the left, the only way he's going to please his own supporters is to basically forgive every single cent that they took out. If he does $10,000, I think that would be worse than doing nothing for Democrats.
I don't know. I mean, I think it is. I think student loans is ridiculous these days. I also think, all right, if you're going to have these outrageous costs, why do we have to go to these bullshit classes that apply nothing to what our major is? My wife had to do had to do math to be a nurse. Like, you don't need more than basic math. Guess what? There's a fucking equation that a computer does for you.
Exactly. Now, my wife is in college now, and her major is in the STEM field. She doesn't need a poetry class, but she has to have one for her credits.
Of course you do. How else are you gonna know how math works?
I don't know. What do they need poetry for in science?
Here's the real thing, though. Like, most people who are in the know of STEM stuff, they can't even comprehend poetry. I fucking can't comprehend poetry. I look at it and I said, what dumbass wrote this? It doesn't make sense.
Actually, you know what was funny is she has a very scientific mind and like very a lot of very black and white in her interpretations.
Which is most people who are in the sciences.
Yeah, definitely. So she was looking at all the poems that she had to choose from to analyze, and she showed them to me, and she was like, this is literally just a story about the beach. It's not even a poem. And I read it and I was like, I'm a little more on the I guess art side than her. And I read it and I was like, yeah, this doesn't feel like a poem at all. I don't know why.
You were in high school and your English teacher would be like, what did they mean? It's like, bitch, they were telling a story. They wanted to sell a book because they needed money to buy groceries.
Pretty much. But I will say, though, She did have to take an art class, and she very much enjoyed that. As it turns out, she's really good at drawing with charcoal, which she wouldn't have known.
Not abstract art, I hope.
No, like what did she draw? She drew a still shot of the Spinosaurus from Jurassic Park, which was fantastic. Stuff like that, actual objects. I do think that there's no reason I should have paid for that class because it doesn't apply to her field at all.
Not at all. And nor is it really going to advance her in any way in life. Like,
no,
will she touch that ever again?
She might have developed a new hobby if she continues to go with it. But outside of that, she gained nothing of quantitative value.
She furthered herself as a human being.
I'll say the arts are important because you need entertainment. That's how we're here. We're artists.
I also found it interesting. My wife had to take an English class where the teacher basically just talked about himself the entire time. He was in some like reality TV show. I'm gonna check out the YouTubes. I'm gonna put an image of him up here. He's a crazy looking bastard. Anyways, can you see?
Yeah, that looks like a really crazy George Clooney.
So, anyways, that's all I talked about for the fucking like however many weeks the course was. Just him and this doing the reality TV show that was a really shitty reality TV show. It was National Geographic.
Andy, you've been to college for a little bit, right?
I have.
All right, so you didn't finish, or you did?
No, I didn't. So, I said this is not for me. I can't sit behind a desk, and I joined the Marine Corps.
So that reminds me. I briefly I think we talked about this at work. I briefly considered joining the reserve recently.
Yes, you could still. I think the Army.
Army and Air Force both have a reserve age limit that I fit in. However, I don't think it's going to work out because at the end of the day, I really don't think my wife could deal with that very well, even though, she's grown as a person from when I wanted to join when I was younger. Because when I was younger, she was like, no, I can't be a military wife. So I was like, whatever, I'm not invested in it, so I just won't go. She said she can handle it now, and I feel like that might not be true.
I mean, I can't tell you that it's true or not.
No, you can't tell me.
I can tell you that you probably would get rejected for your bitch internals.
No, there is a waiver for it. It's just because I looked into it.
How can you be in boot camp and be shitting your pants?
Listen, listeners as well. I don't shit my pants.
Yeah, but you don't get to decide when you go to the bathroom.
I can hold it, dude.
I know people who pissed in canteens, man.
Why would they do that instead of on the ground?
No, because they're fucked up. All right.
Okay. Look at this perfectly good bush. I'd rather collect it and keep it for later.
I mean, you probably would have really got your ass beat if you pissed in that bush. But in a formation, you can piss into a canteen and no one knows.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know shit about it. But
this stresses the importance of labeling your canteens for everyone out there.
Yeah, I would say that makes sense. Yeah, I did consider it though, because the age limit was Air Force 39 and Army was like 36 or something. It was still pretty high because I'm only going to be 34 later this year.
Can you imagine joining the fucking Army at 38?
Well, it depends on your situation. I could see times where it might be beneficial, but overall, if you're almost 40, you're not really going to gain a lot.
No, you ain't going to make much money. Although right now you would have a house and food, which yes, I think a lot of people are struggling with. Have you seen some of the rent prices that people are throwing around there?
No,
I've seen lease agreements where the rent has gone up by like $900, $700. Like fucking ridiculous.
That's a significant difference.
Just a little bit.
Now, before we continue, backtrack a little bit to joining the reserves. I decided it's probably not going to work out for me. However, you give me a reason. Give me a couple reasons actually why you think I shouldn't.
You?
Yeah, me. Medical thing aside, I'm pretty sure I can get a waiver for that because as far as what I have, it's like the mildest case you could ever think of. I know people that are so much worse than me.
Really, your only option is to join the Air Force, right? Because
I guess it depends on what I was looking for, but yeah, I guess let's go with that for now.
Though, because your other option is the Army, right?
Yeah, Army Reserve.
And I'm not going to shit on people who were in the Army, but it's changed a lot since they were in, and it's not very good anymore.
I feel like they have all changed significantly since I don't know, we'll say 2006 or so.
Yeah. And maybe it's just we're grumpy old men. I don't know. So really, you just have the Air Force, and that's great for college money, which is what most people are going for, and
Oh yeah, for sure.
to have a skill where they work on airplanes when they get out.
I do like
You already
airplanes.
kind of have that now.
Well, like I said, I don't think I'd gain a lot from it.
Well, not only that, retirement's gone. I mean,
Well, yeah,
it's
it's
a
the same as
lucrative retirement that they apply, but
retirement everywhere else now. It's a 401k.
yeah, but it's a very, very good. Like, I think they'll put up ridiculous numbers to match, like 30% or something.
Those are good numbers.
Yeah, like you ain't getting that on the outside.
Other than if I decide to go back to college, I don't think I'd gain a whole lot from it. But I think it's hard for me to quantify why I'd want to do it. It's not like I'm expecting to get something from it. I would have to
when you
chalk it
die,
up to patriotism, in which
yeah,
case there's not a lot to gain there.
when you die, you don't have to pay for your casket or cremation.
Well, that makes sense
That's
because
bonus.
they would have been sending me somewhere that killed me. So, they owe me something.
I mean, like when I died, I don't have to pay for mine.
Oh,
Or
even
take
now.
care.
Oh,
Yeah.
they wrote you off an IOU. Good for you.
Yes. So there's your benefit. That's why you should do it.
I don't know. I don't think I will because there's too many logistics having a wife
It's also,
and
dude,
kids.
it's a young man's game, young woman's game, young
Yeah.
person's game.
Yeah, I said I don't even know what that dynamic would look like in your 30s. But some of that crossed my mind over the course of the pandemic when I was like, yeah, I got time to do it now if I wanted to. So I looked into it and I could, but I just don't think it'll work out,
So for those of you who don't know, Jerry and I work with the Navy a lot.
Mhm.
Jerry, think about the really young guys in the Navy you see.
That was one
prob-
thing that came up in my mind was the young generation coming up. And if you guys are in your early 20s, I'm sorry. A lot of you are pretty stupid.
But I mean, so were we when we were 20. Like,
Yeah, it's not like it's their fault.
dude, I
It-
volunteered
it's
to
the
go
way
to
they
Iraq.
are.
That's not
Yeah.
a smart move.
Speaking of not smart, my dad joined the army. He came over to the United States and he joined the army at roughly 18 or 19, that general range. And he did super good on the ASVAB, like wicked high score. And they said, oh, well, you can pretty much do whatever you want. What do you want? And he says, give me infantry. I want to shoot shit.
Mhm.
Okay.
They said no.
They at first they were like, you sure you want to do that? You could do anything. And we have plenty of bodies. And he's like, yeah. And so he spent his time operating a tow missile. Of all the things he could have done, I mean, a tow missile is pretty fucking cool, but
It is cool for that time. It
a
doesn't work
wasted
so well in the civilian
opportunity.
world.
No, it doesn't translate to civilian
But-
jobs.
Most of us don't join for like civilian shit. I went open contract, man. So that, like, you want to talk about stupid decisions. So I went in, told the Marine Corps, said, I don't give a fuck, just give me a job. And they said, thanks.
I spoke to the recruiter and I said, hey, just because I wanted to get actual information. And I'd imagine their information is kind of skewed. But I could tell that because he knew I was in my 30s and I'm like, basically I came at him with like an informed, no bullshit attitude. Like, this is what I want to know. Give me the answer.
Mhm.
The things that I would have qualified for with my level of high intellect and physical fitness was basically like civil engineering and stuff like that, which I would like.
Which is what I did.
Yeah, I would like it, but like at the end of the day, I think that it would be a detriment to everybody around me, and it would just be for me, and I don't think I can pull that off.
The other thing is, like, the real benefit when I joined, like, for most people, was the retirement, right?
Yeah.
20 years and you were fully retired.
Yeah,
Other than the whole, most people join for the whole patriotic reasons, right?
yeah, and like I said, that because I can't really quantify my reason, it would come down to that. Like, I've always wanted to join, but because I was never really invested in it, like I said, I started dating Melissa when I was 20. And that was when I was talking to the recruiter then. And I said, hey, this is what I'm thinking about doing. And she says, I cannot be a military spouse. So I was like, fair enough. I'm glad you told me now instead of when we're getting divorced.
Divorce rate is high. Not gonna lie. Actually not a single marriage I knew while I was in that worked.
Right. And it makes sense.
So it's 4 years of people.
Yeah.
And a lot of people.
Yeah, it's true. It's
I also
a tough life.
I always brought this up too for the longtime listeners. You guys know Chris Blood, been on the show many times. I brought up to him that most people join the Marine Corps to kill people.
Yeah, you guys are.
He didn't like that answer.
Now, was he in the Marine Corps too?
No,
I didn't think so. Why did he? Oh, you know what? He is pretty pacifist about things, isn't he? That's probably what made him upset.
It's just the way it is, man. That's the branch. Like, That's
Well,
the
yeah,
reason that people join. Why are they going to go in there for other reasons?
that's what Marines are
Not
for.
a
You're
single
supposed to
person
kill
I came
people.
across. Exactly. It's not a single person I came across and was like, I did it for the college money.
Yeah, no, that's the other branches, Navy and Air Force. That's those guys, right?
Yeah, it's usually Army, Navy go for the Air Force. Too, I guess go for college money. Coast Guard though, I got to give it to the Coast Guard, man, and that's odd things coming out of Jarhead's mouth. Coast Guard's where it's at, man. If you want to see the action, you ain't gonna go far. Usually, you're gonna be in the coastal waters, but still, you can go international. I've seen them all over the world. But yeah, they get to see the most action. Fuck.
Yeah, it's funny. I never ever think of the Coast Guard, and everyone mentions it in conversation when we're talking about it. I'm like, oh yeah, they exist. People just never think of them.
My wife's nephew, kind of cousin, whatever, is in the Coast Guard, and he's at a base in Buffalo. It's like there's a Coast Guard base in Buffalo.
That's
They
weird.
don't even have water.
Yeah, they got some ponds and shit.
They got some ponds and shit.
Yeah, so I was talking to my wife.
Those Ruskies over there.
So talking to the wife about this before I decided it's probably not going to be a good idea. I said, I asked her, I was like, do you think you could handle it? She says, yeah, you've gone to places and kids are older. I can handle that just fine. I'm like, it's the reserves. I will get deployed. And she's like, it's the reserves.
You're cannon fodder.
Yeah. She's like, it's the reserves. That's like the backup. I'm like, no, we're the meat. Send them first.
Which is bullshit. I didn't learn that until I was active duty, and it was like trying to go places, trying to fucking go wherever I could. And I learned that, we send the reservists first. You son of a bitch. Apparently active duty is for defense.
Yeah. You guys, I don't know if you're more trained or what, but you guys are definitely viewed as less expendable.
I mean, you're more trained, but you're not, right? So they go through the same training, but after that, after their MOS training, they go back home, and then they do some training throughout that time where we're just living the life.
I did get the impression, though, not just talking to the recruiter, but knowing younger people that are in the military, I feel like the standard's much lower than it should be or has been in the past, because like one of the things the recruiter mentioned to me was like, just so you know, I don't normally tell people what the jobs are that we're looking for, because obviously his typical demographic is young and stupid. But you do have to pass the ASVAB and the physical stuff. And my thought is, like, the average 19-year-old, especially, I'm talking about modern, not like historically 19-year-old, but a modern 19-year-old, a lot of them look like they couldn't even run a mile, let alone do it in the time frame.
Yeah, well, I mean,
you think they get beat into shape, but still.
Yeah, we had guys who, when we first got there, couldn't do shit.
Yeah.
By the time you're done, you can do whatever. It depends where you're going to. I mean, the Navy, it's like a mile and a half in like 4 hours or something. It's just stupid. I could run that right now.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was for the mile for the Air Force Reserve. It was something that I read that and I was like, oh, I fucking hate running, but I can easily do that.
I mean, the Air Force, it's like getting a van and step out.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's still basic training, but that didn't look that intense to me. But anyway, you guys are still stuck with me, so here I am.
Well, Amber Heard, she admitted to pooping on Johnny Depp's bed. I mean, on that note, like, how do you feel about these men that are in these shitty relationships in Hollywood?
Is this like a pervasive issue?
I don't think so, but
I think that you deserve what you tolerate. No, to a certain extent. I shouldn't say that too insensitively. Like,
I think
serious domestic abuse, people can get stuck.
Different thing.
Yeah,
you get the blinders on when you're in that shit, man.
Yeah,
you don't know what's going on, and you think it's your fault and all that shit.
I don't know, man. Look, when we're talking about something like the Johnny Depp case, he knew it's fucked up. He knew the whole time.
He's just so?
The dude's almost 60, dating Amber Heard. He was just happy to get it wet. Let's talk about Ukraine for a minute, because we haven't touched on that in a little while, and it's been escalating and being dragged out. I don't think Ukraine's going to win.
It's impossible.
They have no chance, in my opinion. However meaningless that is for the situation, my opinion is.
However much I may want them to win, not gonna happen.
And I keep wondering, they know they're gonna lose. They could just concede the Eastern Front and let them have it and stop killing their people. It's not really a good place to be, and have to make that decision.
Look at what happened 2 years ago. So what was it, 4 years ago? No,
yeah, with Crimea, right?
Yeah,
it was 2014, I think, wasn't it?
Yep. Look what happened there, right? They gave up land. They didn't purposely. They were bamboozled into giving up land. And Russia's right back at it again. It's going to happen. It's just how long.
Yeah, but if you look at what's going on, I don't really know what the dynamics look like in Russia. Like, I don't know if it's when they're not at war, is it a good thing to be a Russian citizen? Is it like a good time? You have a normal life? I have no idea.
I think it's better than it was during the USSR.
Well, it's definitely
I
better
think
than
that was some
USSR.
shitty times.
Most of Ukraine that this is happening, it's basically rubble now. And there's
Yeah.
literally hundreds of thousands of Ukrainians getting killed.
Mhm.
At what point are they going to throw up the white flag? And I guess they could fight to the end, but they're not going to get anywhere. They know they're going to lose. And actually, this might be a little inflammatory, but I'm pretty sure Russia's more than willing to use a nuke there.
Do you think so?
I don't doubt it for a second. And I think if it goes on too long, we're going to see it happen.
Really? Why do
Yeah.
you think that?
Putin, he's very smart, but he's also, I think he kind of looks like he's in a desperate situation now. How can you be Putin right now and
Desperate,
decide
is
to
it?
back out of Ukraine?
He's not gonna. But he doesn't.
He's not
have
gonna.
to. Why
He's
does he
gonna keep
have
pushing.
to?
I think that it's gonna come down to I don't know how much you know about what kind of aid Ukraine is getting, but
You're getting a lot.
even Biden is talking about sending them some stupid number like 30 or 50 billion dollars to help them. That's effectively us fighting Russia. When you're talking that kind of money and the kind of weapons that we're sending there and the military help,
Dude, that's how this always goes. Look at World War II. What we did before we got into the war, right?
Yeah.
Perfect example. We sent money, we sent guns, we sent tanks, we
Mhm.
sent everything we could to aid them because we weren't in the war, right? Congress hadn't declared war
yeah.
yet. So what can we do? Send money and guns. That's what we do. Now, I know right now Russia keeps saying like, hey, if you keep doing that, poke the bear kind of shit. The nuke thing, I don't think so, man. I mean, I know the whole deterrent thing's kind of crazy, but I'm pretty sure if Russia sets off one nuke, like
I can tell
that's
you
not
this,
going to be good.
all
dude.
the other
Dude,
countries,
then you affect the EU.
yeah, but all the other
but
countries
that-
are more
but-
stable. They're not going to send another nuke in response because nobody
not?
wants to set off that chain reaction.
Dude, if you hit a nuke, where's that radiation going?
Wherever the wind goes.
Well, perfect example. Guess where Chernobyl is? It's in Ukraine.
Yes.
So all that radiation at that time went northwest and north.
Yeah, but Putin doesn't give a shit about that. He's far enough away. It doesn't
No, he
matter to him.
doesn't. But if you do that, if you hit that, how can NATO sit there?
That's what I'm saying. I think it's going to escalate to that point if it does not end relatively soon.
Yeah, but then then we have World War III. And
I really think people are underestimating how close we are to that.
I think we're far away. I think we're very far away. Dude, no one wants to go to that. And like, listen, I know American hate is huge right now because, we're like the Florida man of the world. And
Yeah, American hate's like the cool thing to do right now. Yeah.
Yeah. But guess what? Just like in fucking World War II, I'm pretty sure we're still the sleeping giant, right? If you piss us off with something like that, you don't want that. That's not going to be good.
Yeah, especially because Biden's a big fan of war, so I don't think he'd hesitate if he had a legitimate reason.
To me, if something like that, NATO's got to get involved, right? I don't think there's a chance of NATO not getting involved.
No, I'm not saying that they won't respond to a nuke. I'm saying that their response will not be more nukes.
It might not be, or it might be. I don't know.
No,
I just think it'll explode.
I think that the people that are in charge of NATO affiliated countries are a lot more calculated and smart than that would give them credit for. They're not going to just drop more nukes on Russia because the minute Russia sees more nukes coming, they're just going to lob them all at everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's going to happen.
So you're saying a nuke's dropped on Ukraine, and that's when fucking the spark that lights everything off. Once that's been used, why aren't you going to use?
Why wouldn't you use more?
Yeah, being Russia.
Yeah, if Russia used one, but what I'm saying is I don't think Russia's going to use it on anybody else. I think it's going to be used on Ukraine.
But
now again, this is only if it drags out too long.
Well, it's gonna, dude. To me,
I think we're looking at 2 years here.
You think so? You think it'll last that long?
I do, because Zelensky
Aren't
actually
we at,
said
like-
they're not going to give up a fucking inch of that country.
When was the invasion started?
It's about
Okay.
I don't even know.
It's like 2 months, isn't it?
Russia invaded Ukraine on February 24th. So yeah,
So
we're
you're 2
just
months.
we're just over 60 days now.
But yeah, 60, dude, 2 years. I don't think it'll be that long. Again, I want Ukraine to fucking do what it needs to do and to hold them off. It's inevitable. You're holding back the tide with a broom, right there. Russia has so many people that they can just literally shove at it. and they're just doing a trickle right now. This is
Well,
the
think
faucet's left
about their situation though. You even said it yourself. How can this end? Russia can't back out. They're in too deep. They can't back out. And Ukraine can't choose to back out because they are not the type of people to give up. Even though that's inevitable, they're going to lose. So you have two immovable forces going head to head. It's not going to end until it really ends, and that's going to be a long time.
Yeah, well, I don't think it'll be that long. I think 6 months, 7 months, less than a year.
I'm surprised Putin is tolerating as much support as Ukraine is getting already, because there are NATO-affiliated countries sending them shit tons of stuff.
Yeah, what's he going to do? Here's the thing.
It could be anything. He has so many options.
Russia's front on Ukraine right now is the equivalent of you leaving your faucet just kind of, you never leave your faucet on, it's just dripping.
Yeah.
When it comes to their troops, that's what they're doing in the Ukraine right now. Mm-hmm. And they have a fucking massive reservoir of people that they could use.
Right.
They're gonna slowly erode away everything that Ukraine needs without going overboard. And it may cost them a shit ton of money and a shit ton of people. That's what Russia does in war. They don't care. And it's gonna, Ukraine doesn't want to move, but there's only so many people there. They can only fight for so long. You can only get so lucky. Dude, it's inevitable.
Speaking of luck, Zelensky's not dead.
Yes, it's true. How many assassination attempts have they had?
Oh, I don't even know how many. It's a crazy number. But the steel mill that they're bombing everything around it and bombing at it, it's still standing.
Yeah, but that just says that their bombers are shitty.
Is it shitty Russians or really good Ukrainians?
I think of a MASH episode, and this might make me look old.
It's your hairline that makes you look old, but go on.
Did you ever watch MASH? Oh, you silly bitch. You ever watch MASH?
I've seen it, yeah.
Okay, so there's an episode where they have an ammo dump placed right near the hospital, which they got from the Germans in World War II, thinking that the enemy won't bomb it because it's right near a hospital. So every day at 5 o'clock, this plane comes by to bomb the fucking ammo dump. And it's just some dude in a fucking biplane. He drops a bomb out the window and he misses fucking horribly every fucking day. And finally, they're deciding that they need to start shooting at this plane. And in the end, they can't hit the plane, and instead they shoot the ammo dump. The plane was never going to hit the ammo dump. We hit the ammo dump.
So you think that's what's going on there?
I think
you might be right. You might be right.
The training is not amazing. Also, dude, it's like us in our other wars that we've had that were stupid, that we shouldn't have been part of. The fighting people are not, there's no drive, right? There's nothing behind them to be like, hey, this is why we're doing this. I mean, they have the propaganda, but most of the people, from what I'm getting, is most of the Russians don't want to be there. There's actually a decent amount of them that are kind of defecting.
Yeah, I see a lot of them defecting over to Ukraine. I don't know how pervasive that problem is, because we only see the ones that are doing that, but I don't know. It's a fucking crazy situation.
I mean, Ukraine's also got media on its side, and that's a powerful weapon.
It does. But on a lighter note, I just got back from Florida.
Much lighter. You had to deal with Florida.
Florida wasn't that bad. I was down in the Tampa area, and this is my first time ever seeing actual Gulf water in person. Not what I thought it was going to be.
What did you think it was anyway?
I've seen the ocean countless times. I thought it was just going to be a lot like the Atlantic, but
no,
it was so much different. And it's so salty. I float like a son of a bitch. And for you guys who don't know, I don't float.
Jerry can't swim.
Stop telling people that. I can swim. I cannot float. But yeah, no problem. I was just floating around there. I could have just floated all day, right? Bobbing up the top of the water.
That's the other problem, Jerry. You wouldn't pass the swim qual. So I don't.
Yes, I would.
Air Force have a swim qual?
I don't even know. But I passed a swim qual in Boy Scouts.
Yeah, what was that? Don't get raped?
No, that was the first level of swim qual. I was way out in the water.
All right, just stay on this penis.
I was one level from the top of the swim qual because I'm stupid and I'll keep going until I die.
Yep.
But in Florida, I confirmed 100% that I'm basically a human turtle. As you know, I hate the cold with a passion. Yeah, you guys know. So Monday morning last week, it was 86 degrees at 11 a.m. And I didn't realize what the temperature was. I walked outside in jeans and my t-shirt and my hoodie, and I was so comfortable. And I checked the temperature. I was like, oh, it's 86. I'm pretty much an old man already.
I walked out this afternoon and it was 52 and I was in shorts and a t-shirt.
Oh no. Today Actually, I was laying on my couch with my outside coat on. I got home from work because, as this is exciting news too. I had to leave work early because they kicked me out because my wife is now tested positive for COVID. Apparently, she didn't actually get it when we all got it. So now she has it and they kicked me out of work. Can't come back for 5 days for 5 days with a negative test. But I get home around 12 o'clock. My house is pretty reasonable temperature from standard American point of view.
What's a reasonable temperature for an American point of view?
I don't know. My house is in like the mid 60s when I got home. But so I've confirmed I can't live in New England, guys. I can't live here. I want to ride my bike. I want to go out and do stuff. But if it's cold, I'm just not going to do that. I'm going to sit at the window and cry. Now, for next week, I think you guys are going to like this. Unless we have some conflicts of scheduling, we're going to be talking to somebody well outside of the realm of what we've had on the show before.
Yeah, this is a good one. I'm this one we kind of just like we walked into, and I think you guys will enjoy it. I hope it's a good conversation. I
stumbled right into this one, totally unexpected. I can't even tell you how much I was not looking for this until I came across it. And I was like, you know what?
He was about to blaze by it, and I had to be like, wait, what?
So a little teaser. It's an escort. That's who we're talking to. She's an escort. World's oldest profession and all that. Now, I got to be honest. I when I think about prostitution and escorts, I kind of view them as like two separate things. One would be lower class, one would be higher class. I don't know how accurate I am. Maybe we'll find out next week. But like thinking about that concept, I don't really have a lot of like strong feelings about it. I don't think it's a healthy lifestyle. I could be totally wrong because I don't knowingly know any of them. I'm sure that I know some people that have done it. I just don't know that. I do have a lot of questions about it, but I don't really have much for a preconceived notion other than you got like your backstreet prostitutes and then your high-end escorts.
And actually, if you guys have questions, this would be a good time. Hit us up on YouTube. Put them in the comments. We'll ask them.
Oh, yeah. She's I don't even know what an experienced tenure is for an escort. She's been doing it a number of years, and she's super nice, super open about it. And I get the impression that she'd be happy to answer a lot of your guys' questions.
And you also know that I'm just dumb enough that I will ask.
Yeah. And, I'm going to ask her about STIs, and Griz is going to say, what is that? Because he's terrible at acronyms.
No, STI, I know. It's WTO that I don't know. I honestly thought it was like some crazy, because the W got me thrown. I was like, whiskey trade office.
It's the whiskey trade office, guys.
Whiskey tirade triad.
But I think that's going to be an interesting conversation, and certainly one I have never had before.
Thank you again for listening to Beautiful Bastards. New episodes every Monday. Remember to like and subscribe. Bearfucker, do you need assistance?
I don't even know what to make of that. Thanks for sticking with us, guys. We'll see you next week.